Vish, have you ever had that feeling that something has stopped you from following and then realized that it was a deliverance? What if I told you that you were saved by the universe 10 times without even realizing it? The number 7 can change the way you see your own story. Stay with me until the end and get ready to recognize yourself in these invisible moments, but sacred. Pisces, have you ever had that distinct feeling that some force has diverted you from danger in the blink of an eye, as if an invisible hand had acted at the exact moment, getting you out of a situation that could have been disastrous? You, with your very sensitive nature, have probably already caught the presence of this subtle energy, this constant vigilance around you. It's not just imagination, it is care. Today, we are going to talk about the moments when this support manifested itself in incredible ways in your existence, even if you didn't notice it at the time. They are moments of deliverance that shaped his path. There is a phrase that resonates with this truth. I recognize divine protection in my life and trust in the flow of the universe. If this makes sense to you, feel free to leave this phrase in the comments. It is a powerful recognition. In this video, we will unfold 7 decisive episodes of deliverance and a moment of profound renewal in his trajectory. Get ready, because the way you see your story can change. The way this guard acts in Pisces' life is often delicate, aligned with his own sensitivity. We are not talking about small deviations, but about crucial points that rewrote the course of events. These experiences show that you have been supported all along. Keep in mind that the 7th of these episodes can be particularly impactful, as it speaks of a radical transformation, a true rebirth after a period of intense pain. It's the promise that even in the most difficult times, there's a greater purpose at work. 1. Deliverance by silent intuition. We begin with one of the most potent tools that dwell in you, your powerful intuition. Remember that time when everything seemed to fit perfectly? There was an amazing plan brewing, perhaps the opportunity to meet someone new or participate in something that seemed promising. Logic said, go ahead. Everyone around you could even be encouraging you. However, a different sensation began to set in. It wasn't fear, but a strange mixture of vulnerability and a kind of melancholy for no apparent reason. A weight on his chest, a lack of enthusiasm that did not match the apparent quality of the situation. It was a feeling that might be difficult to explain to others, and even to yourself. Despite all the external or internal pressure to move forward, something inside you whispered to stop. You heard this silent call, and at the last moment, you decided to take a step back, retreated. Later, time revealed why. That situation, person, or opportunity hid something heavy, something with a dense and potentially harmful energy for you. His keen perception caught the dissonance even before the facts presented themselves. That nagging feeling, that unwillingness that kept you from moving forward, was actually a form of divine care manifesting through your own sensitivity. His intuition acted as a protective shield, guarding him from something that could have caused him great suffering. Have you ever experienced that feeling that no one else understands, but that makes you stop? 2. Deliverance by prayer or positive energy from another person, and following that invisible line of care, think of that night. That night when sadness and an inexplicable weight enveloped you. There was no clear reason, no specific situation to justify the tightness in the chest or the tears that might have come non-stop. You toss and turn in bed, feeling a chill down your spine. A nightmare torments you, but you can't remember what it's about. The feeling that something is wrong is so strong that it prevents you from sleeping. Maybe you tried to rationalize it, thinking it was just exhaustion from the day, too much empathy, or some unresolved personal issue. But the truth was different. At that very moment, someone, perhaps without you knowing it, raised a positive thought for you, perhaps a prayer, sending pure love and light in your direction. This benevolent energy, this flow of affection from a distance, acted as a protective cloak. It was as if this aura of affection enveloped you and defended you from a negative energetic charge that was trying to reach you. An invisible attack that your sensitivity was picking up, and that was draining your strength. And then you woke up the next day. The heavy feeling had subsided, as if something bad had been delicately removed during the night. This subtle improvement, this sudden lightness, was not by chance. It was proof that you were not alone in that silent battle. Love, in its purest and most powerful form, was your fortress, protecting you when there seemed to be no defense. Have you ever woken up feeling that something bad is gone, without knowing exactly what? Continuing on the journey of recognizing invisible support, think of periods that seemed cloudy, days when a considerable weight enveloped you, as if you were carrying not only your own emotional charges, but also the dense vibrations of the environment or the people around you. Your empathetic nature, Pisces, makes you a powerful receiver, and there are times when this attunement to the world manifests as constant inner pain, an extra effort just to accomplish the simplest everyday tasks. You did what needed to be done, but it was as if each step was accompanied by a discomfort in the depths of your soul. 3. Deliverance by an external subtle gesture. In those moments of dragging, when it seemed that the energy to continue was running out, something small intervened. Maybe it was an unexpected comfort phrase, a visual cue that captured your attention, or even a fleeting memory of a happy moment that rescued a thread of strength. It was a minimal gesture, perhaps imperceptible to those who made it or to the world. But for you, at that exact moment, it was the necessary support. It was the breath that allowed you to endure another day, another hour, just enough not to give in to the exhaustion of the weight you carried. That subtle help, that little injection of encouragement, worked like a silent wave under the tumultuous surface of his emotions. It didn't make a sound, it didn't require recognition, but it did move you in the right direction, preventing you from sinking completely. It's a reminder of how care manifests itself in the details, in the immense importance that small gestures and signs can have when you're vulnerable. Have you ever felt that something made you stop, even if it was for a moment, and that instant was enough to reverse course? 4. Deliverance, due to internal dissonance in the face of something apparently good. And protection continues to reveal itself in different facets. Remember that occasion when a new opportunity arose, bright and attractive. It seemed perfect in every way, a promising connection, an exciting project, or a relationship that everyone seemed to approve of and encourage. The logic was clear, the external expectations were high, and the path seemed totally clear for you to move forward and grab what the universe was seemingly offering you. However, despite all the external excitement, you felt something strange inside. A subtle malaise, an inner voice that did not align with the apparent perfection of the situation. It was a dissonance that made you uneasy, a feeling that something was not right, even without concrete proof. This intuition, this differentiated perception, put you in a dilemma. You felt pressured to move forward, afraid of seeming unreasonable or missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime chance. It was difficult, but you decided to listen to that inner voice. Against logic, against the incentive of others, you chose not to move forward, to retreat, to say, "I don't know why, but I don't want to." I know you felt guilty about it. You thought you were missing something big, that you were being irrational. But trust me, Pisces, you made the right decision. Your intuition never deceives you. Over time, the truth came to light. That perfect opportunity hid something negative, something that could have been harmful or dangerous to you. Your intuition, acting as a beacon, unmasked the facade and saved you from a cleverly hidden trap. Have you ever said, "I don't know why, but I don't want to," and then found out that you were right? On a day that started out ordinary, without any warning signs, the protection acted in an unexpected and, at the time, even frustrating way. You were supposed to be in a certain place at a specific time, following your routine or a scheduled appointment. There was nothing extraordinary in the air, just the normal flow of life. 5. Deliverance for unexpected delay. But then, something happened that caused you to be delayed. It could have been a conversation that went on longer than anticipated, a notification on your phone that diverted your attention for crucial minutes, or any small interruption that made you lose the rhythm and time planned. You were furious at the delay. She thought, "Why does this always happen to me?" He thought he was wasting a precious commodity, his time. And Pisces, you value your time and your organization very much. You didn't know it at the time, but that annoying delay was a providential detour. Shortly after, the news arrived. Something bad, something unexpected and potentially dangerous, happened exactly where you would have been, at the time you would have been there, if you hadn't been late. That time you thought you had wasted actually saved you from losing much more than just minutes or hours. It was as if a gentle but firm hand pulled you out of harm's way without even asking permission, using a seemingly insignificant mishap as a tool of deliverance. Have you ever noticed that wasting time saved you from losing much more in an unexpected situation? Divine protection does not always act only to deliver you from danger. Sometimes it manifests itself through you, turning you into an instrument of salvation for someone else. With your heightened sensitivity, Pisces, you often notice when someone close to you is not well, even if that person tries to hide or does not verbally express what they are feeling. It's like an internal radar for other people's pain. 6. Deliverance by being a channel of salvation for someone. Think about those times when you felt a sudden urge to text someone, to make a call for no apparent reason, or simply to show your presence, perhaps with a small gesture of affection or attention. You followed this instinct, this desire that seemed to come out of nowhere, moved by your natural empathy, and only later did she discover the impact that this simple act had. That person, at that very moment, was going through a deep crisis. She was on the verge of giving in to hopelessness, feeling isolated and with no way out. Her contact, her demonstration of care, as simple as it was, acted as an anchor, a thread of light that pulled her back. It was not words of complex wisdom or magical solutions that you offered, but your genuine presence, your ability to feel with another and to reach out even without fully understanding the situation. In those moments, Pisces, you were not just a friend or a helpful acquaintance. You were a channel of divine force. You were the miracle in the life of someone who desperately needed a sign that they were not alone. This experience reveals a powerful truth. If the higher energy used you to be the deliverance in the history of another being, does it not seem evident that this same force is continuously acting and also taking care of its own trajectory? Now, we have reached a pivotal point, a moment that may touch on old wounds, but which contains one of the most powerful manifestations of care. Remember that period of overwhelming darkness. A tunnel with no light at the end, where hope seemed to have completely disappeared. You felt lost, not knowing who you were or what you wanted out of life. The tears were no longer coming, the strength to cry had run out. You wondered, why am I here? What is my purpose? The pain was physical, spiritual, and mental, penetrating every part of his being. It seemed like everything hurt. And at rock bottom, you felt like your absence wouldn't make a difference to anyone. 7. Deliverance at the emotional rock bottom, rebirth. In that abyss of despair, when it seemed impossible to take another step or find a reason to continue, something incredibly small happened. It was a subtle touch, an almost imperceptible caress. Perhaps a passing memory of something beautiful, the sight of an image that resonated, or just a fragment of a melody that brought momentary relief. And along with this little radiance of something positive came a powerful feeling, an inner voice or a realization that whispered, "Not yet. Your journey doesn't end here." This minimal but well-timed intervention prevented you from giving in completely. This was not a mere salvation from an external danger. It was the salvation of his own spirit, a rescue from the inner abyss. It was the turning point that marked the beginning of a profound and true rebirth. You broke yourself into 1,000 pieces, yes, but this fragmentation allowed a new version of you to emerge. It was a permanent, transformative change where intense pain was the catalyst for a strength you didn't even know you possessed. Have you ever felt that you have reached the limit of your endurance, but something has stopped you from giving up? 8. Deliverance for not getting what I wanted so much. Continuing the way protection is revealed, sometimes it appears disguised as disappointment. There are times in life when you crave something, perhaps to deepen a bond with someone who seems ideal, to get a certain dream job, or to bring to fruition an opportunity that you believed was perfect for your path. You have invested energy, emotion, and anticipation into that desire. When that didn't happen, pain and frustration were inevitable. Feelings of failure or injustice may have arisen. For a while, this loss seemed just that, a painful absence, a bump in your way. You regretted what didn't happen and wondered why the universe didn't grant your request. However, as time passed, the original situation unfolded. The truth behind what you wanted so badly and didn't get began to be revealed. It turned out that there was something negative hidden, a complication, a toxic energy, or a fundamental mismatch that you didn't initially notice. What seemed like a door closed in his face, in fact, hid an even greater risk or suffering. It was then that the sigh of relief came. The painful loss was, ironically, his protection. The universe's no was not a denial of your worth or your desires, but an act of caring, diverting you from something that would not be beneficial to you in the long run. Have you ever experienced the feeling of thinking, "I'm glad I didn't insist," when you realize that something you wanted wasn't really what it appeared to be? 9. Deliverance through one's own body. Continuing to perceive the multiple forms of this support, there are times when superior care manifests itself in an even more direct and undeniable way, through your own body. Pisces, have you ever woken up with a strange physical sensation? Perhaps an inexplicable weight on his shoulders, a discouragement that went beyond his mind, a general sense of vulnerability that seemed to permeate his every cell. It was not a visible disease, but a deep indisposition that left him prostrate. On days like this, you might feel frustrated with yourself. There were appointments, tasks waiting, life moving on, but you just couldn't muster the energy or the will to move. It seemed that an invisible barrier prevented him from fulfilling the plan, a physical impossibility of moving forward, no matter how much his mind tried to argue or feel guilty about the inactivity. You were irritated by this apparent weakness. What you may not have realized at the time is that this physical limitation, this apparent failure of your body, was a crucial form of protection. Forcing oneself to move forward, to ignore those internal signals, would have led to greater damage. It could be a damaging encounter, a dangerous situation, or a complete burnout that would be much harder to recover from. His body spoke loud and clear when his mind, perhaps pressed by circumstances or guilt, was not listening. His physical vulnerability became at that moment his most effective shield. She kept him safe, paralyzed in the right place, away from imminent danger. Have you ever felt that your body prevented you from doing something, and only later did you understand that this resistance was to keep you? After realizing how protection manifests itself in the physical, let's look at a salvation that occurs in the most intimate sanctuary, your interior. Pisces, you, with your ability to absorb and feel, often carry weights that are not always yours, or cling to old pains, resentments, or guilt that should have already been released. These internal loads can weigh more than any external burden, sapping your energy and clarity. 10. Deliverance by inner release and emotional healing. And then, without warning, without a major external revelation or a dramatic event, it happened. You realized that an old pain, a grudge you had long held, a guilt that consumed you, or perhaps a dense emotion that didn't belong to you, simply dissolved. It was a subtle moment, perhaps during a quiet walk, a moment of introspection, or just waking up one day. There were no witnesses, no special announcement, just a sudden, deep sense of lightness. A mental and emotional clarity emerged, as if the air inside you had become purer. Something that was broken and heavy inside his being came loose, detached, freeing up space to breathe. This was not a salvation from something external, but a liberation that emanated from the inside out. It is proof that the most powerful healing and the deepest deliverance often lie in your own ability to process, forgive, and release. It is a reminder that embracing yourself with compassion and allowing what no longer serves to go is a sublime form of divine care working through you. Have you ever felt that something heavy inside you has loosened on its own, bringing an unexpected lightness? As we reflect on these 10 manifestations of care and deliverance, from initial intuition to the body that speaks and inner liberation, it is clear, Pisces, that your story is not made up of mere coincidences. Every emotion that guided him, every sensation that made him stop, every loss that became gain, and every rebirth that transformed him were direct expressions of a constant and loving protection. This higher force has been holding your hand, or rather the water beneath your feet, since the beginning of your journey. You're not alone. It never was. And this understanding brings a new perspective. What will you do with all this knowledge now? With the clarity that there is an invisible support, a purpose revealing itself between the lines? Your sensitivity, which sometimes feels like a burden, is actually a powerful channel for this communication and care. It is the tool that allows you to feel the silent wave, unmask appearances, and be a beacon for others. Its history continues to unfold, with many waters yet to be sailed. And to continue exploring this deep connection, understanding the signs, and navigating more clearly, there is an invitation for you. Join the Star Signs and Insights community. By signing up now, you'll have access to insights and tools that will help you better understand your flow and purpose. Don't miss this opportunity to deepen your connection with this protection that has always been present. Even if you don't always see it, someone up there keeps betting for you, always. With the newfound clarity, Pisces, that your life is a constant stream of support and guidance, the challenge now is to bring that awareness into everyday life. It's not just about looking back and identifying the salvations that have happened, but about feeling that presence in the present and trusting it as you take the next steps. Your intuition, which has saved you so many times, now becomes an even more reliable compass. Instead of seeing it as just a shield against danger, begin to perceive it as an active guide in your choices. This means paying attention to internal promptings, subtle feelings, even when they seem to run counter to logic or external expectations. That strange feeling before accepting an invitation, the inexplicable discouragement in the face of a proposal that looks good on paper, the sudden lightness when moving away from certain people or situations. These are all signs. They are the higher wisdom communicating directly with you through your body and your sensitive soul. Integrating this wisdom is a daily exercise in self-confidence and surrender to the flow. It is an invitation to live less in fear of what could go wrong and more in the certainty that you are being led. It's the transition from being saved without knowing it to actively collaborating with the force that protects you. Recognizing divine protection does not mean that the path will become free of challenges, Pisces. On the contrary, the journey continues, and with it come moments that test your faith and your new understanding. There will be days when the waters will be turbulent, when doubt will try to set in, and when the apparent absence of clear signs may make you question everything you have learned about invisible support. These are the tests that deepen your confidence. In the midst of the storm, when fear or uncertainty knocks at the door, remember the 10 now recognized times you have been carefully led astray, rescued, or reborn. Remember the subtle touch that kept you from giving up, the loss that turned out to be protective, the body that spoke for your good. It is these memories, this concrete evidence of kindness in action, that serve as an anchor in difficult moments. Trust is not the absence of fear, but the courage to move forward, despite it, sustained by the inner certainty that you are not navigating alone. These challenges are opportunities to strengthen your connection. They are invitations to take a deep breath, calm the mind, and listen more carefully to the subtle signs that continue to manifest. In intuition, in synchronicities, in the presence of people who appear at the right time. Proof is not a punishment, but a polish. And with each challenge overcome, the certainty of support becomes an even more intrinsic part of your being. With the wisdom integrated and the confidence tested and strengthened, Pisces, the path ahead opens up for the manifestation of your unique potential. Knowing that you are supported releases incredible energy. It allows you to take more risks, follow your soul's calls with less hesitation, and use your natural gifts, your empathy, your creativity, your compassion to impact the world around you. You're not just a recipient of care. You are an active channel of that same energy. Your sensitivity, once seen perhaps as a weakness, is the tool that enables you to perceive the needs of others, as in the sixth salvation, to feel the energies of an environment or situation, as in the first and fourth salvation, and to navigate life with a depth that few understand. Now, aware of the support, you can direct this sensitivity more intentionally, becoming a beacon of light and healing for others. The purpose you questioned at rock bottom, in the seventh salvation, begins to unfold as you trust the flow and act from your guided heart. His story of overcoming and protection is, in itself, an inspiration. Keep listening, feeling, and trusting. The universe continues to orchestrate. Your journey is a living testament to the strength that sustains you. What will you build, feeling this invisible hand that guides you, Pisces? The potential is limitless. These 10 forms of care that you have experienced, Pisces, were no coincidence. They were reminders that you were never alone. If any of these stories have touched your heart, write in the comments, "I recognize divine protection in my life." Let's create a chain of gratitude and strength. And if you want to continue receiving signs, reflections, and messages that connect you with this invisible energy, subscribe to the Star Signs and Insights channel, activate the bell, and share this video with those who need to remember that they are being taken care of. Because when you recognize the signs, the universe responds even more.